again. Well, we're already on day 22. I can't believe it. It's a proper countdown to Christmas now. And we've got the second of Sloppy's elf stories that she brought back with her when she went on her travels on her own. And she's getting really excited. She's challenged me to read this one from the book. So I'm going to see if I can do it. And this one is called The Nutcracker. Here we go. Clara Stahlbaum peeked through the keyhole into the parlour. Her heart leapt when she saw the maids decorating the tree with ribbons, wrapping gifts for the children, and setting out delicious-looking sweets. "It's my turn to see," said her brother Fritz, shoving her out of the way. "Oh, look, peppermints! I'm going to stuff my pockets with them before anyone else can get any." "You won't do any such thing," said Clara, ever mindful of good manners. "Come now, we must change. Mother wants us in our best clothes by 6 o'clock. All the important people in town are attending Father's Christmas party, so we have to look nice." By 6 o'clock, Clara, in her pink lace dress, and Fritz, in his knickerbockers, stood at the front door greeting the guests and their children as they entered the elegant Stahlbaum home. "Why, Clara, you look like an angel," said Mrs. Bloomridge. "Ha," said Fritz, "there's nothing angelic about her. She tattles and she—" Clara covered her brother's mouth. Thank you," she said, smiling. Before long, the orchestra struck up a tune, and all the adults began to dance. When Fritz and the boys stuffed their faces with lemon drops, Clara and her friends watched the ladies and gentlemen prancing around the room. Clara adored looking at the women's dresses as they whirled and whirled in time to the music. She couldn't wait to grow up and to wear a skirt that swirled while she waltzed with the gentlemen. "I have something for you," said someone, breaking the spell of her daydream. "Uncle Drosselmeyer!" Clara squealed and gave him a big hug. "I didn't see you come in." "I was late," he said, "but not too late, I hope, to give you this." And from beneath his cape, Uncle Drosselmeyer presented a wooden nutcracker. Just like that. It was painted to look like a handsome soldier. Clara was dazzled. "This is better than any of my china dolls," she said, cradling the nutcracker in her arms. And just then, Fritz spied his sister's gift, and in an instant, his face turned red with jealousy and selfishness. He ran across the room, and before anyone could stop him, he grabbed the nutcracker from her arms and threw it to the ground. And then he stormed out. And when Clara saw the broken nutcracker, she covered her face and wept. "Don't cry," said Drosselmeyer. "Look, I'll tie the head back on with my scarf." And so he did. Clara dried her tears and safely tucked the wounded nutcracker in her arms until the last guest went home. And then she gently placed it under the tree. And she went to bed. But that night, the moon shone too brightly through Clara's window, and as she lay awake, she worried about her poor nutcracker lying all injured and alone under the tree. Softly, she crept down the stairs and went into the parlour, and just as she entered the room, she saw something that made her gasp and leap into a chair. A clutter of rats nibbled on the leftover crumbs from the party. The dirty creatures! How would she rescue her nutcracker now? Clara's heart beat faster, and her eyes darted wildly about, looking for a way to rescue him. But then she noticed something very strange happening. The more the rats ate, the bigger they grew. And as the rats grew, the Christmas tree grew. Everything was getting bigger and bigger until the rats towered over her and the tree broke up through the house and out into the night. Clara huddled farther into the chair that she'd leapt up on. She covered her eyes from all the scary things happening all around her, and when she mustered the courage to peek again, she saw the Nutcracker had grown taller. And to her relief, he was leading an army of toy soldiers against the giant rat and all his followers. The battle raged. As the soldiers fought the lesser rats, the Nutcracker battled the Rat King, thrusting his sword at the hairy beast again and again. But brave and strong as the Nutcracker was, eventually he grew very weary and he weakened. Just as the Rat King was about to sink his claws into the Nutcracker's neck, Clara threw her slipper at him, and it hit the rat's head. Stunned by the surprise attack, the rat didn't see that the Nutcracker was about to run him through with his sword. In an instant, the Rat King was dead and all his troops were chased away. Clara, overcome with joy, hugged the Nutcracker, and when she pulled away, in place of the wooden soldier, there stood a handsome prince. "Thank you for saving me," she said. "It is you who saved me," he said, "and there are many people where I come from who will be very grateful to you. I want to take you there now. Come with me." And the prince stepped onto Clara's chair. It magically transformed into a sleigh, and together they glided off to a land where snowflakes danced and where the creatures were made of chocolate and cream and other sweets. When Clara and her prince arrived, a sugar plum fairy who ruled this kingdom showed them to a pair of thrones. "I heard what you did for our prince," she said. "Today you will be our princess. Sit here while all my subjects entertain you." And one after another, scrumptious confections danced for them. Candy canes, marzipan, ginger snaps, honey drops, cups of hot chocolate, and finally the sugar plum fairy herself. Clara, swaying to all the lively tunes, giggled and sighed at the delightful wonder of it all. At the end of the performance, when Clara stood to applaud, her nightgown became an elegant party dress, and out of nowhere a waltz began to play, and the prince took her into his arms and spun her gracefully round and round and round. They whirled and twirled through the night sky and back into the evening of her very own parlour, where she found everything just as it was before. The next morning, Clara awoke. She was curled up in the chair, and she knew it had all been a dream. But still, every Christmas for the rest of her life, she would smile when she remembered the fantasy of her handsome Nutcracker prince. And there he is, all in one piece. See you later.